Greetings from Temecula, California. It is Wednesday, October 1st, the very first day of spooky season. That's right, Halloween's creeping closer. The pumpkins are out, the leaves are turning, and I kicked things off this year in a very fitting way, watching Caroline. Yes, Coraline, I believe. That's how you say it. A little suspense, a little thrill. Perfect way to ease into the chills and thrills of October. You should try it. It's a classic reminder that the world is full of surprises. Sometimes terrifying, sometimes hilarious, but always entertaining. Now, turning our attention to the world of sports, because of course we have to, don't we? Game 2 of the MLB Wildcard series is heating up. We'll have three, spoiler alert, 3 Game 3s, maybe a fourth, depending on what happens in Los Angeles. Tensions are high, and all of these teams are leaving it on the field. One win can change everything, and let me tell you, if you blink, you'll miss it, because postseason baseball waits for no one. Switching gears, NBA fans, buckle up. We've got a season preview of 2 teams that are poised to make some noise. First up, the Philadelphia 76ers, Joel Embiid doing his thing. And the question on everybody's mind, Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain, can they finally put it all together and get over the hump? And then the Minnesota Timberwolves, with young talent and ambition in abundance, are looking to make waves in the West. Exciting times, folks. Exciting times. And before we wrap up, a little news from the NFL. Xavien Howard has a big announcement. What is it? Well, we'll tell you. I can't spill all the beans just yet, but let's just say it's going to be significant. If you're an NFL fan, you'll want to stay tuned, because Howard has been making headlines, and whatever he's got to say, it will matter. So there it is, your Wednesday kickoff for October. Spooky season officially started. Baseball drama heating up, NBA excitement building, and NFL intrigue just around the corner. Hang on tight, because it's going to be a wild ride. This is the Ryder Report. I am Ryder Bullock, and we get things started with a couple of Game 2s in the wild card. Let's start with the Tigers and the Guardians from Cleveland. Guardians trying to stay alive. Bottom of the first, George Valera steps in, and he gets all of this one deep to center. 411 feet, solo shot. Guardians strike first, 1-0. Fourth inning, Tigers respond. Riley Green on third. Xavien Baez singles up the middle. Green scores, and we're tied at 1 apiece. Baez doing his part. 2 for 4 day. RBI single ties it up. Pitching battle. Casey Miz gives Detroit 3 solid, just 1 run, but bullpen keeps it tight. Tigers relievers string together 4 scoreless innings until the 8th, when the game tied at 1. Brian Ricciero gone, solo shot to right. Guardians retake the lead 2-1. Next batter, Skinman rips a double to right. Steve Kwan comes around, 3-1 Cleveland, and then Bo Naylor, boom, a 3-run blast to right field. Guardians blow it wide open, 6-1. Ninth inning, Tigers trying to hang on, but Dylan Dingler lines out to end it. Guardians take Game 2, force a decisive Game 3. Final score, Cleveland 6, Detroit 1. Winning pitcher, Cade Smith. Losing pitcher, Tyler Melton. Cleveland's offense wakes up late. Machado, Skinman, and Naylor combined for 5 RBIs in the 8th. So it all comes down to Game 3 tomorrow. Winner moves on, loser goes home. Guardians stay alive in the wild card. out to Wrigley Field. Cubs and Padres in Game 2 of the wild card. Padres trying to stay alive. Cubs trying to make it to the divisional series. First inning, Padres strike first. Top of the first, Fernando Tatis Jr. on third. Luis Arraez at the plate. Jacob Merrill with the sacrifice fly to right. Tatis tags and scores. Padres jump out 1-0 early. Pitching duel, Adrian Morehan dealing for San Diego, and he goes 4 scoreless, mixing speeds, keeping the Cubs' bats quiet. Meanwhile, Chicago's bullpen trying to keep it close. Kittredge works the first, then Imegna enters in the fifth. Fifth inning, Padres add on, and here's the big swing. Manny Machado launches one to left, 404 feet, a 2-run shot. Tatis Jr. scores. Padres up 3-0. Cubs offense cold. Cubs can't get anything going. Just 4 hits all night. Morjan, the bullpen, and Robert Suarez combined for the shutout. Final out, bottom 9. Suarez finishes it off. Strike 3. Ball game. Padres blank the Cubs 3-0. Adrian Morjan gets the win. Andrew Kitchen is the losing pitcher. Robert Suarez is our player of the game. Padres get it done with pitching and power. Machado's 2-run homer, the dagger. San Diego staying alive. Yankees and the Red Sox from the Bronx. Boston looking to sweep New York, fighting to stay alive. First inning, Yankees strike fast. Bottom 1, Bellinger on base, and Ben Rice gets a hold of one deep to right. Gone. 2-run shot, 364 feet. Yankees jump out 2-0. Third inning, Red Sox answer. Jarren Duran and Cedence Rafaela aboard. Trevor Story delivers base hit to center. Both runners score, and we're tied at 2. Fifth inning, the captain comes through. Aaron Judge, always in the spotlight, lines one to left. Trent Grisham scores. Yankees back on top, 3-2. Sixth inning, Story strikes again. Trevor Story, not done yet, hammers this one to left center. Solo homer, 381 feet. His third RBI of the night. Ties the game at 3. Eighth inning, Jazz Chisholm Jr. on third. Austin Wells at the plate, lines it to right. Chisholm races home, slides in safe. Yankees retank the lead 4-3. And how about the defense? Yankees turn a clutch double play earlier in the inning to keep it tied. Then Fernando Cruz escapes a base loaded jam, pure fire. Ninth inning, Red Sox down to their final out, and David Bindar slams the door. Strike 3. Yankees win a thriller 4-3 to force a game 3. Devin Williams, your winning pitcher. Garrett Whitlock gets the loss. David Binder, our player of the game. Trevor Story drives in all 3 for Boston, but Rice, Judge, and Wells deliver for New York. Yankees stay alive, and we're headed to a decisive Game 3. Mention that game in Los Angeles right now. The Dodgers are playing the Reds. Get you a score in that game right now. Top of the 7th, the Dodgers leading 7-2 against the Reds. Dodgers, if they win it, this series is over. From baseball to the NFL, with that big announcement from Xavien Howard, 4-time Pro Bowler, one of the best ball-hawking corners we've seen in the last decade, a guy who led the league in interceptions twice. Not easy to do in today's pass-happy NFL, and now after just 4 games with the Indianapolis Colts, he walks away. He has announced his retirement today. Mid-season, midweek, says my dream has changed. Says my family comes first. Now listen, I'm not here to question a man's priorities. You want to put your kids first, God bless you. You've made your money. You've made your mark. You've had a heck of a career. 29 interceptions, over 100 starts. That's nothing to sneeze at, but from a football standpoint, let's call it what it is. This came out of nowhere. You don't sign with a team in August with a starting job, get roasted by Puka Nacua for 170 yards, and then 4 days later say, I'm done. That's not planned. That's not graceful. That's frustration. That's pride. That's a guy who's realizing maybe his body or his game isn't what it used to be. And you saw it on the field. I mean, the Rams went after him. Stafford targeted him. That's not the Xavien Howard we're used to seeing. That's not the Xavien Howard that I know. You remember Miami? Quarterbacks avoided him. Now they're circling him on the scouting report. You combine that with a couple of bad games, week 2 against Denver, penalties all over the place, and it starts to add up. Maybe he saw the writing on the wall. Maybe he knew the Colts were going to make a move, and instead of sitting on the bench, instead of being cut, he said, I'm going to walk out on my terms. But I'll tell you something. It's a tough blow for the Colts. You lose a veteran presence. You lose experience in that secondary. You've got young corners who could have used a guy like that in the locker room, and now you got to pivot. Shane Steichen can say all he wants about, quote, evaluating week to week, but make no mistake, this caught them off guard. They were not planning for life after Xavien Howard in week 5. Now let's zoom out here. We're seeing more of this, folks. Veterans walking away midseason. You saw it with Vontae Davis years ago, retired at halftime. And now Howard, the game takes a toll mentally, physically. And when you lose a step in coverage in today's NFL, you get exposed fast. Quarterbacks find you. Puka Nacua, second-year guy, made him look like a rookie out there. So, yeah, it's sudden. It's shocking. But it's also honest. He knows what he is now, and he's not going to hang around just to cash checks. That's admirable in its own way. But the bottom line here is Xavien Howard had a terrific career, one of the best corners of the late 2010s, but the NFL doesn't wait for anybody. When you lose that half step, when the film starts showing you're getting beat, that's all she wrote. He walks away with his health, his money, his family intact. You can't fault him for that, but don't kid yourself. This is also the end of the line because the game passed him by. We continue with the NFL, and we've got a Thursday night game coming up. Niners taking on the Rams, and San Francisco is showing up to this thing held together by duct tape and hope. I mean, you want to talk about decimated. This is a MASH unit. No Brock Purdy, out with a toe injury. That's your starting quarterback. No George Kittle, hamstring. No Brandon Ayuk, knee. No Juwan Jennings. No Ricky Purcell. No Jordan Watkins. You tell me who's left. Who's catching passes in this game? The water boy? Mac Jones. Yes, Mac Jones is under center. And listen, I give the kid credit. He's played well in spots, won a couple games, but you're throwing him out there against a Rams defense that's 5th in the league in defense, 2nd in sacks, and you're asking him to make it work with Kendrick Bowen, Demarcus Robinson, and Sky Moore. That's not exactly Rice, Taylor, and Dwight Clark. Let's call it what it is. This is going to be a grind. This isn't the high-powered Kyle Shanahan offense we're used to. This is survival mode. Shanahan's going to have to get creative. You're going to see a healthy dose of screens, draws, maybe some tricky plays. They're going to try to protect Mac Jones, shorten the game, lean on the run, but against Aaron Donald and that front, good luck. I know Purdy said earlier in the week, hey, I might try to go. It's just a quick turnaround. Folks, it's a toe that's bothering him this much, and you've got only 4 days to recover. You're not playing quarterback in the NFL with that. You're planting. You're pushing off. It's not happening. But here's the real issue. This isn't just 1 week. This is accumulation. You start losing starters every week, it wears you down. You can't sustain that. San Francisco's been hanging on, but you take Kittle and Ayuk out of that lineup. That's your security blanket. That's your go-to guy. Suddenly defense can load up the box. They're not afraid of these receivers. Mac Jones said the Rams are the best defense in the NFL, and I agree. Well, and he's about to find out how good they are because they're going to pin their ears back and come after him. And when you don't have your A-listers out there, it gets ugly fast. Now, does this mean the Niners can't compete? Absolutely not. Shanahan's a brilliant play caller. He'll scheme something, but if you're asking me to pick this game right now with that injury list, you can't. You can't go on the road Thursday night, half your offense in street clothes, and expect to beat a Rams team that's playing with confidence. You just can't. So you ask me, Ryder, is there a silver lining? And the answer to that question is yes. They'll get the mini bye after this. They'll have a few extra days before Tampa. If you're a Niner fan, you just got to hope this is rock bottom because this roster, healthy, is a contender. But this version, this is a patchwork crew just trying to survive week 5. From the NFL to the NBA and the Miami Heat. Nikola Jovic, 4 years, $62.4 million, fully guaranteed. That's his new contract. That's a lot of money for a kid who's played in just 107 games out of a possible 246. Let's be honest about what this is. This is a projection deal. This is not a reward for past production. This is Miami saying, we think this guy's about to pop. Now listen, Jovic is only 22 years old. He's got length. He's got skill. He can shoot it. And he's coming off a strong summer with the Serbian national team. You love that. You love that he's maturing. He's getting reps at a high level internationally. But still, 10.7 points per game last season, missed time with a broken hand, and hasn't exactly been a fixture in the lineup. This isn't Bam Adebayo. This is a young forward who's flashed potential, but hasn't proven consistency yet. And now you're giving him over $60 million guaranteed? That tells me Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra really believe he's part of the next wave in Miami. Spoelstra said it himself. He's becoming more mature, more professional. Well, he's going to have to be. Because once you get that contract, the expectations change. You're no longer the young project. You're a guy they're counting on. And think about this. Miami's cap is tight. They're not just handing out money for the fun of it. This is a front office that's built on development and culture. If they're committing this kind of money, they see Jovic as a legitimate piece. Maybe their future. Stretch 4, maybe a playmaker who fits alongside Bam and Hero. But make no mistake, this deal comes with pressure. He's got to stay healthy. He's got to be a rotation player night in and night out. And he's got to take the next step. Last year he gave you flashes, 24 points a game in Game 4 against Cleveland. Some solid minutes, good shooting. But you can't build a career on flashes. You got to stack seasons. I'll tell you, though, this is a very Heat move. They lock up their guys early, they trust their development system, and they don't wait for the market to dictate value. If Jovic becomes a 15 to 18 point scorer, versatile on both ends, this deal is a bargain. If he stays inconsistent, it's an expensive gamble. So bottom line here is high expectations, high upside move, but now it's on Jovic. You've got the bag, kid. Now you got to prove you're worth it. Miami doesn't pay passengers. To other news in the league, Quentin Grimes, restricted free agent, signs the 1-year, $8.7 million qualifying offer to return to the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, that's not nothing. Almost $9 million for a year. But let's be real, this is not the deal he wanted. Grimes came into this offseason looking for $20 to $30 million per year. He wanted real security, multi-year money, and instead he's betting on himself. He's taken the short-term deal, keeping that no-trade clause, and setting himself up for unrestricted free agency next summer, when a whole bunch of teams will have cap space. Now, from the player's side, I get it. He had a career year, 14.6 points, 4.3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. And once he got to Philly, he pooped. 5 30-point games, 2 40-point games. He showed he can score. Okay, he pooped out. He got out of his shell, okay? I don't know if you'd say pooped out in a good way. That's the way I say it. He pooped out, okay? Poop doesn't always have to be bad, okay? You can poop, and it's okay, It's a compliment. Everybody's laughing at me right now. It's a compliment. Here, we'll get back to this story here, but, if it's a compliment, though. In math, the complement of set, in math, the complement of a set is everything not in the set, In language and grammar, a complement is a word or phrase that completes the meaning of another word. Okay? So poop, in a technical sense, is a compliment. And it can also be a pun than a literal compliment. But anyway, you know what I mean. But this kid, he had 5 30-point games, 2 40-point games. He showed he can score. But here's the reality. The poop part. The restricted market this summer was ice cold. Nobody had cap space. Nobody wanted to tie up money with offer sheets, and the Sixers knew it. You saw the dance. They waited until late September to even make a real offer. 4 years, $39 million? That's less than $10 million per season for a guy who averaged 22 points after the trade. That tells you exactly where they value him. They like him, but they're not breaking the bank for him. And with Embiid's injuries, with Paul George's uncertainty, with the rookie Jared McCain now out 4 to 6 weeks, the Sixers had to keep flexibility. So Grimes takes the 1-year deal, gets full trade veto power, and basically says, all right, you didn't want to pay me now. We'll see next summer. This is a gamble. Because if he gets hurt, if his numbers dip, that big payday disappears, just like poop. But if he repeats or improves on last season, especially with a featured role early while McCain's out, he's going to have leverage. He's going to have even bigger poop. He's going to walk into free agency with bird rights, unrestricted, and the power to choose his team. He may even have the power to choose where he poops. Okay, we're going to stop talking about poop. We're going to done with poop. But his team. He's going to have the power to choose his team. From Philly's standpoint, this is a win. In the short term, you get a motivated player on a team-friendly deal, and you'll keep flexibility for the cap and for trades. But I'll say this. Grimes has bounced around a bit. Knicks, Pistons, Mavericks, and now the Sixers. At some point, you want to stay somewhere. You want stability in your life. You want to land somewhere that believes in you long term. Maybe that ends up being Philly. Maybe it doesn't, and you have to be okay with that. But now the pressure's on him to deliver again. And if you look at the other restricted free agents, Giddey got $100 million. Kuminga got almost $50. Even Cam Thomas took a qualifying offer. This market was tight. So Grimes is betting on himself. High risk, high reward, high poop. The Sixers, they keep the flexibility and a solid score on a short deal. Now we see what happens when the games start, because if he puts up 20 a night again, this $8.7 million will look like a bargain, and next summer he'll get paid even more. So, we talk about the Houston Rockets. And they have been one of the more active teams this offseason and are going to have to start the year without one of their new pieces, Dorian Finney-Smith, 4-year, $53 million contract coming off ankle surgery. And head coach Ime Udoka says no, probably not, when asked if he'll be ready for the opener. That's coach speak for he's not close. Now listen, you don't pay a guy $50+ million unless you see him as a key rotation piece. And Finney-Smith, we know what he is. He's a 3-and-D guy. He's a glue player. He's not flashy, but every good team needs one. He defends. He hits corner threes. He's a vet presence, but this is already a bit of a red flag. You give him a multi-year deal, and before camp even ends, he's not ready. Udoka said he's doing the shooting, the non-contact stuff, but still no full practice. That tells me he's at least a couple weeks away, maybe more. And look, ankles are tricky. You rush back, you re-aggravate it, and then you're out another month. The good news is Houston's young. They've got depth at the forward spot. You've got Jabari Smith Jr., Dylan Brooks, Terry Eason. They can cover early. But what you lose without Finney-Smith is the defensive versatility and spacing he brings. He's the kind of guy who doesn't need the ball, who does the dirty work. Guards the other team's best wing. That matters, especially for a team that's trying to make a playoff push. And you look at what Houston's done. They bring in vets like Fred VanVleet last year. Now Finney-Smith. They're trying to blend experience with youth. But the biggest thing with these vets, availability. You can't set a tone if you're not on the floor. So, Ime Udoka's being cautious. And that's the right move. You don't need Finney-Smith in October. You need him in March and April when you're fighting for seeding. So this is a setback, not a disaster. But it is something to watch because this is a guy they invested in. And if he's going to be the two-way forward that they think he can be, he's got to be healthy. He's got to be at practice doing contact stuff. And that's that. And that brings us to our 30 teams in 30 days, we're heading to the city of brotherly love, where the Philadelphia 76ers are looking to rise again behind a star trio that's hungry to finally stay healthy and make a run. Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey, three all-star caliber players who last season shared the court just 15 times. Injuries decimated Philly's hopes as the Sixers stumbled to a 24-58 finish, missing the playoffs entirely. Embiid missed 63 games, George sat 41, and Maxey 30, a trio of setbacks that left fans wondering what could have been. But now optimism returns for the 25-26 season. Key off-season moves: they re-signed Drummond, Uber Jr., Lowry, added Trendon Watford, drafted VJ Edgecombe and Johnny Broome. They unsigned Quentin Grimes, the restricted free agent. And Nick Nurse brings back veteran leadership and adds rookie firepower. VJ Edgecombe, the number 3 overall pick, headlines a promising young group that includes Jared McCain, returning from a season-ending meniscus tear. Before his injury, McCain was electric, a Rookie of the Year candidate, averaging 15 points per game and lighting up the scoreboard with confidence beyond his years. And don't forget Tyrese Maxey last year, leading scorer at 26.3 points a night, with Embiid and George's health still a question mark. Maxey may be the new face of the franchise. Some key dates to look out for: tomorrow and October 4th, NBA Global Games in Abu Dhabi. October 22nd, season opener at Boston. October 25th, home opener against Charlotte. In the Emeritus Cup, Halloween against Boston. November 14th at Detroit. November 25th against Orlando. November 28th at Brooklyn. So those are some dates that you want to circle on your calendar. And if the Sixers can finally stay healthy, the East better take notice. With a blend of veteran stars and emerging talent, Philly's ceiling as high as their durability allows. The Sixers loaded with potential, searching for consistency. Up next in our 30 teams in 30 days, Minnesota, where the Timberwolves are looking to build on back-to-back Western Conference Finals appearances and take that next step, all while leaning on their rising superstar Anthony Edwards. Last season, Minnesota overcame a shaky February to surge 17-4 down the stretch, punching their ticket to the playoffs and avoiding the play-in tournament. The result, the franchise's best year-to-year postseason showing ever, knocking out the Lakers and Warriors before falling to the eventual champions, Oklahoma City Thunder. Julius Randle elevated his game, averaging 21.7 points on 50% shooting in the playoffs, while Naz Reid and the rest of the returning core give the Timberwolves continuity. All 6 of last year's double-digit scorers, including Jaden McDaniels, Rudy Gobert, and Dante DiVincenzo, return for another year. They re-signed Highland, Ingles, Randall, Reed. They added Johnny Juzang. They drafted Joanne Burnson, 17th pick. Now, some departures. Nickeil Alexander, Walker's not going to be there anymore. Luke Garza's not going to be there anymore. And Josh Minott isn't going to be there anymore. So minimal tinkering this offseason, just the additions they needed. Johnny Juzang brings shooting depth, and rookie Joanne Berzinger provides size off the bench, potentially a future successor to Rudy Gobert. Anthony Edwards is the clear X factor. The 6'4" guard scored 27.6 points per game last season, 4th in the league, and a shot at a career best 39.5% from 3. 2 All-NBA selections under his belt. Edwards is a highlight machine, a clutch scorer, and now the face of this team. And keep an eye on Jaden McDaniels. The 6-year forward showed he can impact both ends of the floor. starting all 82 games and posting career highs across the board. More playmaking from McDaniels connecting with Edwards and Gobert could make Minnesota's offense even scarier. Key dates to circle on your calendar: October 4th, they open preseason against the Nuggets at a neutral site in San Diego. Regular season opener October 22nd at the Portland Trailblazers. Home opener October 26th against the Pacers. Emeritus NBA Cup November 7th against the Jazz. November 14th against the Kings. November 21st at the Suns. November 26th at the Suns. Christmas Day December 25th at the Nuggets. Rivalry week January 24th against the Warriors. So with a stable core, rising young talent, and Anthony Edwards in his prime, Minnesota has the pieces to make another deep playoff push. Can they finally take the Western Conference crown? This year, the Timberwolves are aiming higher than ever. Here is what's trending today in the world of sports. The Cleveland Browns will start rookie Dylan Gabriel at quarterback on Sunday against the Minnesota Vikings in London, benching veteran Joe Flacco after a struggling start to the season. Coach Kevin Stefanski cited Gabriel's hard work and readiness as the reason for the change. Despite the team being on an overseas trip, Cleveland 1-3, ranked near the bottom in scoring and offensive production, has used 5 different starting quarterbacks in 10 games. Gabriel, a third-round pick from April's draft and former Heisman finalist at Oregon, has minimal NFL experience but performed well in limited preseason action. He will face a Minnesota's defense with a high blitz rate, and Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell noted Gabriel's athleticism and playmaking ability. Flacco, whose pass rating ranks last in the league, will serve as Gabriel's backup. Third-string quarterback Shedeur Sanders remains behind them for now. In Atlanta, Braves manager Brian Stinker, 69, announced he will step down after 10 seasons at the helm, including leading the team to the 2021 World Series championship. Stinker, who has been with the Braves organization for 49 years, consulted with his mentor, Bobby Cox, through Cox's wife, before making the decision and will remain with the team in an adversity role. During his tenure as manager, Stinker compiled an 811-688 record, won 6 National League East titles, and earned a World Series ring. The Braves honored him with induction into the team's Hall of Fame, keys to a new Ford truck, and a vacation to Hawaii. The team has not yet announced a successor. This comes amid a wave of manager changes in MLB, including departures by Ron Washington with the Angels, Bob Melvin with the Giants, Rocco Bendelli with the Twins, and Bruce Bocce with the Rangers. A federal peers panel dismissed the NCAA's eligibility appeal against Vanderbilt quarterback Diego Pava, ruling the cases moot after the NCAA granted a waiver allowing him to play through the 25-26 season. Pava, in his 6th year of college football, but only 4th at the Division I level, had previously won a preliminary injunction permitting him to play while his lawsuit proceeded. Judge Amal R. Thapper noted the NCAA effectively gave Pava full relief with the waiver. The dismissal does not affect the underlying lawsuit, which challenges NCAA rules on junior college and resident redshirt eligibility. Under antitrust laws, Pava has been a key player for Vanderbilt, helping the team reach a 5-0 record and number 16 ranking ahead of a matchup with number 10 Alabama on Saturday. To Major League Baseball, top of the 8th, Dodgers lead the Cincinnati Reds 8-2. Dodgers lead the series 1-0. If they win that game, the Reds are eliminated, and the Los Angeles Dodgers go to the NL Divisional Series. Here is tonight's final thought. In the annals of sports, few events capture the world's attention like the FIFA World Cup. For a month, every 4 years, national pride, athletic excellence, and the unifying spirit of football, or soccer if you prefer, take center stage. It's a celebration that transcends borders, languages, politics. And yet, as the United States prepares to co-host the 2026 World Cup across 11 cities, plus additional venues in Mexico and Canada, we are reminded that even the world's most beloved game is not immune to the heavy hand of politics. Last week, President Donald Trump suggested, in response to questions about city safety and political leanings, that he could declare certain host cities, quote, not safe, and alter FIFA's carefully laid plans. At first glance, this sounds like an exercise in executive oversight. In reality, it's an awkward collision of two very different worlds. FIFA, the international governing body of football, has jurisdiction over where games are played. Contracts were signed, logistics were thoughtfully mapped out, and stadiums from New York to San Francisco have earmarked for matches. Altering this plan 8 months out is not just improbable, it's virtually impossible. Victor Montanelli, Vice President of FIFA and President of the Confederation of North Central America and Caribbean Association Football, reminded us as much at a recent sports business conference in London, saying football is bigger than any individual and bigger than any country. These are not merely words. They are a recognition of what sports can represent when it operates above the fray of politics. And yet politics does seep in. The World Cup, like the Olympic Games, relies on host nations for security, visas, and law enforcement. No host operates in a vacuum, and no athlete or fan can ignore the world around them. But there is a difference between cooperation and interference. One is necessary for the games to run, the other risks undermining their very spirit. It is a delicate balance, and history has shown the stakes. Brazil, Russia, Qatar, South Africa. The past men's World Cups each presented unique political contexts that could have overshadowed the game. And yet football endured, reminding us that while government comes and goes, the sport itself survives, thrives, and unites. As we look forward to the 2026 FIFA World Cup, let us hope that reason prevails, that logistics and contracts hold firm, and that politics, while inevitable, does not dictate where children will cheer, fans will celebrate, and nations will gather to honor the beautiful game. Because in the end, football belongs to the world, not to any one administration, slogan, or political debate. That'll do it for me on this Wednesday night. Till next time, Ryder reporting. Thank you for your time, and thank you for letting me share mine.